Improvisation. Sanford Meisner's teachings on acting focus primarily on achieving emotional truth and naturalness through simplicity and direct response to one's partner. He underscores that actors should avoid intellectualizing their roles or overcomplicating motivations. Instead, they should aim to be fully present, responding spontaneously to their scene partners and focusing on immediate emotional reactions. For Meisner, the core of great acting is authenticity. An actor should feel and respond truthfully under imaginary circumstances, making the performance real for both the actor and the audience. A foundational exercise in Meisner's approach is the repetition exercise, where two actors repeat simple statements back and forth, such as "What color is your shirt?" and "My shirt is maroon." While this may appear to be a basic exercise, its purpose is to bring the actors out of their heads and into the moment, encouraging them to stop overthinking their responses. Rather than getting lost in elaborate character motivations or forced emotions, the actors are encouraged to focus solely on the immediate and genuine reactions that arise from the repeated phrases. Through this exercise, actors start to develop a natural awareness of their partner's shifts in tone, mood, and behavior, fostering emotional spontaneity. In the repetition exercise, the goal is not realistic dialogue, but rather emotional involvement and presence. As actors repeat simple statements, they start to respond with genuine emotions rather than planned reactions. This practice builds a strong foundation for living truthfully under imaginary circumstances, as Meisner describes it. By focusing on the repetitive interaction, actors learn to recognize and express subtle emotional responses, allowing their performances to feel more authentic. This exercise also reveals how easily actors can fall into patterns of self-consciousness or forced emotion, which Meisner discourages. Instead, he encourages actors to react naturally, responding to their partner's energy and emotions in real time. In class, Meisner emphasizes simplicity as essential to good acting. He advises actors to avoid cluttering their minds with excessive or overly intellectual motivations, which can detach them from the immediate moment. For example, one actor suggested building a house of cards at a cancer hospital, thinking it would entertain a child and demonstrate care. Meisner sees this as overly complex, explaining that simply knowing the activity is for a dying child would create more emotional involvement than piling on details. Complexity, he argues, interferes with an actor's ability to react from a place of honest feeling. Meisner himself can elicit a strong reaction by merely thinking of Hitler, drawing out emotional responses from within his own identity as a Spaniard. This simplicity anchors actors in their own genuine emotional responses, rather than intellectualized or contrived emotions. Meisner demonstrates the importance of direct answers in exercises designed to simulate authentic dialogue. When Bruce struggles to answer a question directly, Meisner guides him to respond naturally. For instance, if asked, "What color is your shirt?" Bruce is expected to answer with maroon, rather than becoming stuck in his head. By practicing straightforward responses, actors begin to trust their instincts and reduce hesitation. Meisner wants actors to answer with immediacy, showing that they can engage in real conversations rather than performative exchanges. He also explains that, while repetition might seem theatrical in certain contexts, its purpose is to eliminate self-consciousness, enabling actors to connect with their instinctual responses. Meisner often highlights the difference between repetition as an exercise and real dialogue. While repetition can sound mindless, it has value in freeing actors from the need to generate realistic dialogue independently. This enables them to experience instinctive shifts in their emotional responses to each other's words, gestures, and tone. When students express difficulty in performing this way, such as Vince who struggled with feeling chased by an imagined attacker, Meisner clarifies that Vince's response lacked reality and specificity. If Vince had imagined a real pursuer, like a police officer, he might have reacted differently when a knock on the door occurred. Meisner explains that merely playing a drama, or indicating fear doesn't resonate emotionally, the actor must internalize the stakes to generate a real reaction. To avoid artificiality, Meisner encourages students to anchor their characters in specific, emotionally significant scenarios. For example, he suggests that Vince could have imagined that his girlfriend was marrying a wealthier man, creating a personal sense of rejection or loss. Sarah, Vince's scene partner, comments on the lack of reality in his performance, noting that his actions didn't fully convince her. Meisner uses this feedback to remind students that emotional truth is essential. Actors should avoid theatrical, or indicated, responses that lack grounding in real emotions. Meisner's guidance extends to how actors handle strong emotions. He believes they should use personal experiences to deepen their connection to the character. For example, he mentions that if Joseph, a student writing a letter about his deceased aunt, had drawn from a truly personal experience, it would have brought greater depth and continuity to his performance. Meisner stresses that actors must allow their personal emotional responses to fuel their roles, rather than settling for a reflection of a mood. He also notes that actors like Bette, who hesitated to show full excitement about landing a role, should avoid holding back out of fear or superstition. Meisner encourages actors to embrace their emotions, even if doing so feels vulnerable or intense. Meisner critiques students who prioritize proper acting over authentic emotional experiences. He explains that politeness or self-consciousness has no place in genuine acting, which requires actors to lose their self-consciousness and become the character fully. When students display hesitation, such as avoiding eye contact or muting their responses, Meisner warns that these behaviors distance them from their emotional core, making it harder to connect with their characters truthfully. He encourages students to lean into their discomfort, as this vulnerability often leads to deeper, more convincing performances. Ultimately, Meisner's approach is about cultivating a truthful, instinctive response to each moment. By prioritizing simplicity and eliminating forced emotions, actors learn to live fully in their characters' circumstances. Rather than relying on intellect or affectation, they practice engaging with their own genuine emotional experiences, allowing them to act with naturalness, depth, and authenticity.